Hello everyone, my name is Vicente Hernandez. My classmates are Jennifer Diaz, Paulo Ortiz, and Neira Villamizar. And welcome to our podcast called Our English Learning Journey. We are very happy to share our experience, challenges, and achievements with learning English in the podcast. We will talk about our personal stories, the strategies that help us to improve, and our goals for the future. We hope we enjoy listening to our experiences and feel inspired to continue learning English. Now, we will hear the experience of our classmate Naira.
Hello, everyone. I want to tell a little about my experience learning English. I started learning English in school, but honestly, at that time, the classes were mostly focused on grammar and vocabulary. Everything felt very theoretical, and I didn't really practice speaking or listening. Later, I decided to study foreign language with an emphasis in English because I always felt passionate about the language. For me, learning English is not only part of my profession, but also a personal challenge and a goal I really want to achieve. One of the most difficult part of the learning English for me has been speaking with confidence. Sometimes I get nervous because I am afraid of making mistake or pronouncing a word incorrectly. Listening has also been challenging because native speakers talk very fast and sometimes it's hard to understand everything. Even with those challenges, I know I improved a lot during university. I've learned that a language takes patience, practice, and consistency. I also understood that making mistakes is completely normal and actually part of my process. Sometimes that have helped me improve are listening to music in English, watching movies and series with subtitles, practicing pronunciation, and using apps or digital tools to learn new vocabulary. I also try to practice speaking little by little to feel more confidence. One experience that made me feel really happy was realizing I could understand parts of some videos or conversation without translating every word. For me, that was a sign that I was making progress. Right now, I still feel that I had many things to improve, especially my speaking, listening, pronunciation, and intonation. I also want to become more confident when I speak English. My goal is to communicate more naturally and fluent in the future, especially as a future teacher. Thank you for listening. Let's continue my classmate Jennifer.
Um, Thank you, Naira. Hi, my name is Jennifer, and today I'm going to share a little about my experience learning English and how this progress has been for me over these years. And I'm going to share my reflection on the English learning journey. Will also be sharing in the podcast. Honestly, it's started learning English in school with, but I didn't get it most important because I saw I use another subjects many times. I only studied to pass the exam and didn't think about how useful the language could be in the future. However, time, especially when I started university, I began to understand that English opens many doors, both academic and professional. I also realized that it's present in many aspects of our daily lives, such as music, film, social media, and technology. This readily sparked my interest in learning hype. One of the biggest challenges is faced during the program. process has been speaking English with confidence. Many times I was afraid of making mistakes, mispronouncing words, or going blank when participating in class. During presentations and oral activities, I would be very nervous because I overthrow the mistakes I make. As at first, I found it very difficult to understand people who spoke English because I felt they speak too fast and use words I didn't know. Despite these difficulties, it's gradually understood that learning a language requires patience, practice, and consistency. I began to losing my fear on making mistakes. I understood that they are part of the learning process. Sometimes that helped me hello was listening in English music and looking at the lyrics because in addition to learn vocabulary and also improve my pronunciation. Let's quit. Let's watching movies, series, and videos with subtitles, getting help my improve my listening comprehension, become familiar with how people speak the language in real life. I have used technological tools as educational aids to practice vocabulary, grammar, and pronunciation. I believe that technology has been a great help in my learning because studying more dynamic, practical, and interesting. In addition, I try to constantly practice be reading short tests and learning new words and repeating English phrases to feel more confident speaking. One of the most memorable experience was releasing that I could understand snide or sounds, minds, or conversation without needing to translate every word. Although it may sound insignificant, I meant a lot to me because I feel it was truly progressing. I also remember that at first I was very embarrassed to participate in all our activities. But over time, I gained confidence, and now I feel more secure to expressing myself in English. Correctly, and consider myself to be in the middle of the learning process and believe I study high to improve especially influence and pronunciation. However, I am proud of the progress I have made this for because I know it has been the result of effort and dedication. My future goal is to speak English more naturally and confidently, communicate better with people from other countries, and use the language as the important tool in my professional and personal life. In conclusion, learning English has not been an easy process, but has been a very important and enriching experience for me. I've been learning how the practice, patience, and motivation, and it's possible to make steady progress and overcome fears. I continue to learn every day, and I'm motivated me to keep dreaming to achieve my goals. Thank you for listening and continuation this night.
Thank you, classmate Jennifer. My English learning journey has been a process full of challenges, motivation, and personal growth. At 18, I decided that I really wanted to learn English because I understood the importance of this language in today's world. At the time, I did not have many financial resources or access to private classes, but that did not stop me from trying to improve. I started practicing on my own with the help of Duolingo, where I learned basic vocabulary, pronunciation, and simple expression. Although it seemed difficult at first, I stayed motivated because I knew that every small step brought me closer to my goals. One of the biggest difficulties I faced was learning without having someone to practice with regularly. Sometimes I felt insecure speaking because I was afraid of making grammatical or pronunciation mistakes. Many times I felt frustrated because I wanted to express myself better, but I still did not have enough confidence. However, instead of giving up, I decided to keep practicing every day. I listened to music in English, watched movies and videos with subtitles, repeated sentences out loud, and practices new vocabulary constantly. These habits helped me gradually improve my listening comprehension and speaking skills. After finishing high school, I decided to study a bachelor degree in English because since childhood I have always dreamed of becoming a teacher. I believe that education has the power to transform life, and I want to become a teacher who inspires students with patience, dedication, and love for learning. Saying this degree has allowed me not only to improve my English, but also to prepare myself professionally to become a good educator in the future. During my university study, I learned that teaching English is much more than explaining grammar, rules, or vocabulary. It also means understanding a student, motivating them, and creating a positive learning environment where they feel safe and confident to participate. Therefore, I want to continue improving my English skill and my teaching abilities every day. I know that becoming a good teacher requires preparation, discipline, and continuous learning. Currently, I consider that I have a good A2 level of English. I can communicate about family topics, understand basic conversation, and express personal ideas with more confidence than before. However, I know that I still have many things to improve, especially pronunciation, fluency, and speaking skills. My dream is to continue preparing myself more and more in the future, reach a higher level of English proficiency, and become an excellent teacher to teacher with love, respect, and dedication. Finally, the experience of our classmate Paula.
Hello, everyone, and today I'm going to talk about my experience learning English. I started learning English when I was in school. At first, it was difficult for me because I did not understand many words, and I was afraid of speaking in class. However, little by little, I became more interested in the language. One of the biggest challenges for me was pronunciation and listen comprehension. Sometimes native speaker talk talk too fast and I feel frustrated. To improve, I started listen to music, watch movies with subtitles, and practice vocabulary every day. These strategies help me feel more confident. Another effective strategies was using social media and online platforms to practice English in real situation. I also tired to think in English and write short text to improve my grammar and fluency. One more memorable experience related to learning English was when I understood an entire conversation English for the first time. I felt proud and motivated to continue learning. Currently, I consider my English level to be intermediate. I still want to improve my speaking skill, pronunciation, and vocabulary in the future. I hope to speak English fluently and use it in my professional and personal life. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Annie.
Thank you.